we are going to be talking about inventory. My most hated part of this gig. What do you do with the product after you photographed it, after you've listed it, and now what? It has to go somewhere. So I'm going to show you my inventory system and hopefully get your wheels going about what to do with your stuff. So my name is Karen with the Thrifty Flamingo. If you are interested in learning a lot about Poshmark and a lot about reselling, I would appreciate if you subscribe to my channel. If you're returning, welcome back, as always. So I'm actually going to get a little bit of work done right now because we are going to be doing some inventory right now. I'm going to show you what I do with it after I've listed it and all that fun stuff and where I put it. And then I'm going to show you actually where I store it. I'm going to share with you, how I locate items once it sells. It's very important not to lose your inventory. Now, as long as you start thinking and trying to develop your own system, even if you take a little bit from this, I've done something for you, so let's get to it. Okay, so this part of my basement in my house is called shipping and receiving. When I moved in here, all the boxes that had to come down here, I wrote shipping, basement, left. And so my brother-in-law that helped move, he kept going basement, shipping and receiving, basement, shipping and receiving. So now everybody calls it shipping and receiving, which is kind of appropriately named. So this is where I bag and tag everything. This is also where I wrap and I ship. Right next to you, you can't see it, that's where all my boxes are. I have like every size priority mail box, I have mailers, I have everything I need to ship right here. So this is where I wrap all my items. So for inventory, I have these. I have, I think 8, I think I tried to count them once, 8 or 9 of these plastic teal little bins. I get them at IKEA. They're very flexible. They kind of look like laundry baskets almost, but not as hard as a laundry basket. So when I source and then I sort out everything and everything's cleaned and pressed, ready to go, they all go in here and I bring these into my studio. I usually have about 2 or 3 of these in my studio at once, and I photograph the heck out of them all. And then the clothes go back into the bins. So when I am done photographing, I will grab them and I will bring them down here. So I do the inventory about 2 to 3 times a week. It depends on where and how much I'm sourcing. I also have a part-time employee that I have trained to do this part. I still have to do it though. It's my job, So these are kind of everywhere. They're very helpful. So I'm just going to be pulling from here and we'll do a few items. So I use 2 different types of bags for the majority of my items. These ones are a little bigger. These I get off of eBay. They have a flap, but they don't seal. They're a little bit more expensive, but these are really good for bulky items like sweaters or really large jeans, bigger items. The ones I prefer to use, I get them at Walmart. They are for like bagel. It says extra large bags, great for rolls and bread. And this I think is like $2 or $2.97 for 100 of them. Where these I think is $300 for almost $20. So I try to fit everything into here. Obviously that doesn't always happen. So these are just smaller than these ones. So it really does depend on the item. The next thing that I use is a heat sealer. Ta-da! A heat sealer. I used to go through so much tape. I would actually, fold the bag and tape it, and I would go through so much tape. I already go through enough tape making boxes and taping what needs to be taped. So when I purchased the heat sealer, I had one before, but it was kind of a food processor. It like took the air out of it too. No, food sealer. Is that what it's called? Yeah, yeah. And it vacuum sealed the food. I was using it for clothes. So this is just a heat sealer. $15, got it on eBay. I will definitely put all of this in the description below if you guys are interested in finding this stuff. So, all right, now, got my handy dandy bin. So when it concerns pants, I always make sure I have lint rollers too. I do flat lays, especially when it concerns the pants on a white furry rug. And you guys know that gets like everywhere. So I just make sure there's no excess white furry rug. I try to de-hair it right before I take the pictures of it and right after too, just to make sure that this is like not taking up most of my time. You know, all this part. They're white anyway. So I just fold them. I've gotten really good at folding things small. I like the small bags. Kind of fold them pretty tight. Get it pretty small. Told you I'm good at folding. Then I use my tiny bag. Now the heat sealer, if you guys do the heat sealer, just make sure you have like a ventilated place. I do have a, you know, this is central air down here, but there is air circulation. But I usually do a few bags and step away because it does let off the plastic burning, so you don't want to like let the fumes get to you. And then I just kind of like push the air out of it and then I heat seal it. I really hope you guys can see this. It's nothing special, but this is what I do. Sometimes it's one, sometimes it's two. The moment it clicks, it comes right off. This is sealed. In the beginning, like with the food one, I was really kind of nervous that I was going to like chomp the item of clothing. I've gotten really good at it and really confident that I'm not gonna like singe the clothing. I haven't yet, nor will I. So once this is done, this is where I label it. Now my labels through the year have changed. I used to have a label maker. This was fine. Anybody can read a label maker. It took a little bit more time, you know, to enter with, it was like a little pad label maker. And the problem is you're still buying the rolls of the printer tape for it when it ran out, and it ran out frequently because I'm always printing labels. So right now I just use Scotch tape and I write what it is. And then I number it. So I wrote down DL1961, Angel Skinny. I also put the size, I put 28. Now the important part, where do I put it? I know in previous videos I've mentioned the bins that I use. So my bins are constantly changing. You know, I'm selling so much every day. So what I do when I come down to do inventory is I take at least 2 bins on the side of the basement, ones that have started getting light in inventory. And it's random which bins it is. I have bins that are always floor level that are for heavier things, because when you put a lot of denim in one bin, it gets heavy, and I don't want shelves breaking, and I don't want to, you know, break myself trying to get a heavy bin down. So I get a heavy bin and I get a light bin. So right now I have B1 D1. Now this is also where the way I do things has changed. What I used to do was have an Excel spreadsheet, and I would enter the number and like the item into a spreadsheet. So when something sold, all I had to do was search it and it would pop up where it is, go pull it. The problem I was having is that, you know, the computer wasn't always near me when something sold. My husband also uses our computer for work. So I'd be going to list an item on eBay and on Poshmark, and, you know, the number that I had to put in the listing telling me where it was nowhere, you know. So I kind of went the 1.0 way about this, like really, like, I use this. This, it doesn't matter where the computer is. It doesn't matter if my husband's on it and doing work. You know, I could be listing from my phone, from my iPad, and I could read out of a notebook. So this has not failed me like the computer has failed me. So my notebook's gonna tell me the last number that was entered into the D bin, which is where these are going. My last number that was in the D bin was D107. Now D1 is telling me location, 07 is telling me item. So yes, it only goes up to like 99. We'll get to that part later. So this is actually going to be D108. And I write it there and I write it here. D108. And I pretty much just stick this on there and I put it in D1. Seems easy. Now, the reason why I put what it is on there, how it says like angel skinny and the size, is because since it's D1 is the bin and I can only go up to 99, occasionally there's going to be two D108s if the previous D108 didn't circle through and didn't sell. It happens every now and again that I will find two of the same two ending numbers, but I never send the wrong thing because I make sure that the listing says like angel skinny size 28 on it, you know. But yeah, so it's kind of like a backup, so you could definitely read like what it is as well as the number. And then this just goes into the bin. So after a session of inventory, whether it be me or it's my employee, she hands me the book, or I go fetch the book, or I bring it upstairs when I'm done with it. And when I'm sitting down and I'm making all these listings, all I do is go through, and as I'm listing it, I put the number in the listing. On Poshmark, the last line says D108. Or on eBay, you can actually make your own SKU. So that's where I put the same number on my eBay listings. So when it sells, I know exactly where it is. You'll notice my handy dandy notebook has, I'm telling you, this is very like simple. There's no like spreadsheets involved in it. There's no like, none of that. Now occasionally I will get to an item that I photographed, but I either haven't listed it yet or forgot to list it, because there was just so many items. And then I definitely put right next to it list. So while I'm upstairs and I'm making all my listings, or I'm updating my listings to include the number, I go, ooh, I can make a new listing, which is always a good thing. You should constantly be listing. Next one I'm going to do is a shirt. This one I already prepped for you guys. You guys don't need to see me lint rolling. Now shirts, they don't go in heavy bins because they're not heavy. Shirts, you can get so many of them in a bin and still be able to kind of take it down from chest level or even above that. Fit it in the small bag. Happy, happy. All right, nice and clean. It's very nice not having to use tape. And then I just write down, we the free. And this one is not going into the D1. This one is going into B1. And my last B was 124. So this is going to be 125. All right, Free People Thermal, Oatmeal, Small, B125. Now, my numbering system has changed slightly through the years. And, you don't have to do it exactly like this. Whatever you need to take from this video and kind of adapt it to your needs, that's great. So previously I had like a longer SKU. Before the B1, it would tell me exactly how much that piece was when I bought it. It would say 04 B125, meaning I bought this for $4 where it is. So that would make it easy when I was kind of going back and forth with someone and they were making offers. I'd be able to look at the listing and say, oh, I bought it for $4 and now they're offering me 20. You know, and it was very easy reference point. It was getting a little complicated, and you know, the SKUs were getting mixed up, and I was losing track of which lot was from which lot. That is something that goes into an Excel spreadsheet. This is not. So I simplified my SKU just for location, location, location. Now we're gonna go over and we're gonna go bring D1 and B1 over to where they belong. I'm gonna show that to you. It's not 100% yet since moving in. It's getting there. Let's go do it. Okay, so we're gonna go over to the bins. And this is my inventory system. Only half set up. My condo, I had shelving that was longer and a little bit shorter, so it was able to hold 3 and then 4 on the bottom, because it kind of like I was able to get it out the side kind of, and I thought I had ordered the same shelving and because it wouldn't dismantle. Like, that thing was up in my basement in my condo forever. Like, we broke it, so we had to trash that. This one I ordered. First, they sent me the wrong one. They sent me this. They sent me this tiny little shelf. And I was like, first of all, like, the item number was different on the box. The dimensions were different. And I'm looking at the box and I'm like, that's not right, you know? And I'm like looking at the dimensions. I'm like, that's not right. And my husband's like, no, that looks about right. And I'm like, no, because he's really bad with dimensions and stuff. So I put it together and that's what I get. And I'm like, you're kidding me. But I did need a shelf for like my shoe boxes. Over here, it's like a lot of my hard goods for like eBay. I have like DVDs, miscellaneous shoes. I have curtains. Yeah, so I did need a smaller shelf. So they sent me 2 of these because I had ordered 2 of them. So I sent one back. And I was like, I need the right one. And then I get this one. Better, they sent me the wrong one and they sent me 2 of them. And I still needed one. So pretty much after talking to the service lady, like, I got a credit to my account. Like, I was like, I'm a nice person, but I was really mad. I was like, listen, I was like, just send me the right shelves and we won't have an issue. So this entire wall will be a longer shelf than this. Right now we have oh, that's backwards. A1 and A2, B1, 2, C1, 2. Yeah, you see. Now, there's my others. There's my 3s, A3, B3, C3. These are E's, F. And so I need the other shelf because right now I'm kind of pulling things over, and those are shoes. Those are shoes. And one of my lovely bins. So I'm gonna kind of put the camera down and I'm gonna show you how I pull stuff. Okay, so let's say that my Lululemon Restless hoodie. Ooh, they named them so crazy. Restless. Tongue twister. Let's say my hoodie sold. In my listing, it actually says B205. When I'm pulling my own items and I'm the one that's wrapping for the day, because my husband also wraps, and I'm starting to train my employee to, you know, ship. When I'm doing it, I just bring my phone downstairs and I go through my listings and I pull each individual one and I throw them in here, bring them over, back yonder to shipping and receiving, and wrap them up. Now, when it's my husband pulling or my friend and I know it, whenever something sells, I write it in my note, like, you know, the note app on the phones. So then by the next day, I have a collection of numbers and locations. So I either airdrop it to him or I airdrop it to her, and she comes downstairs and she goes, okay, B205. And I put a very basic like title. I'll say Lululemon Blue. Just in case there's a duplicate. So then she says, okay, B205. So she goes into B2. This is all very light stuff. Shirts. And she finds B205. Now sometimes, you know, there's definitely digging going on. There's definitely like overlooking it, and you get to the bottom of the bin, you're like, oh my goodness, it's not here. And you pretty much just moved it to the side. I've done that before, and you had a little panic going on, like, where is it? Now, occasionally something's going to sell before it even makes it in the bins. That happens to me often because I only put them in the bins 2, maybe 3 times a week. I let them pile up in the tubs and I just bang them all out at once. So once in a while something will sell that doesn't have a number on it, but then I know where it is. I know it's in one of the few full bins that's either still in my studio or right down in shipping or receiving, and I just pull it out and I bag and tag it and we're good. So right now, without the other shelving going on, there's a lot of juggling of anything E and F and anything 3. You know, it's like my luck, it's always like C3. So then I'm taking like A and B down to get underneath it. You might also notice that I have an A4. A4 is an actual closet. So I do have things that aren't, you know, shoved into bags. They're dresses, like really like pretty dresses that I haven't done that yet because I don't want them to like have set in wrinkles. Or like a 5-pound motorcycle jacket. Oh my goodness, this thing's in my husband's Poshmark closet if you're interested. This thing is like pretty awesome. You know, some of my dresses, some of my skirts definitely go in here. Not all of them go in A4. I'm choosy because obviously A4 is very small. Now hard goods go in here. This is like a cold cellar. It's like it's definitely cold. I don't do anything that would need a cold cellar. I don't make food like that. So any of my husband's vintage board games are all behind here. Anything hard goods that's not small and on the small shelf, which is obviously eBay stuff. But clothing, bins, shoes, bins. And that's it. That is my inventory and tracking system. Maybe it's gotten you thinking on how to improve yours, especially if you're looking to up your Poshmark closet and get more items into it, or maybe up your eBay game. The more items that you source, no matter where you're getting them from, and you're taking them into your home or wherever, you have to be able to track them. You have to be able to locate them. If you can't locate them, how are you going to ship them to people? You know, so I hope it's gotten you thinking. I really hope it's been helpful to you. If it has, I would really appreciate if you give me a thumbs up. If you're new and you've hung out this long, I would also really appreciate if you subscribe to my channel. Other than that, see you guys next time. Bye.